and welcome to Deserted Isolation Discs, a play on words and tribute to the BBC's famous Desert Island Discs podcast. We're Kate Hamer and Louis Saha, the founders of Access Stars, which is a platform to connect stars from the worlds of sport and entertainment with trusted brands and service providers. Today we are joined by Danny Donachie from Everton.
Hello, Danny. Hello, Guru.
Hi, King.
Guru.
Hi, King. Nice to see you.
Yes, how are you?
I'm very well, thanks.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time. I know that it's a strange moment for everybody, not for only football world, but it's nice to, I think, take the time to have your brain, have your thoughts, and have your maybe tips. So I'm gonna ask you, what is the actual day like now? How are you coping with this, and what is your program?
Well, the last 3 weeks, King, I've been allowed back into Finch Farm to work with Cenk Tosun, who had a cruciate surgery, because that's essential. So in the mornings, I drive over to Liverpool. I work with him, and then I drive back here, and we have lots of conference calls, things like that. But this morning, I was driving in, and it's so strange. You know, I drive in, and the car park is empty. The whole building is empty, and we're working in the gym, and like there's not another soul there. It's so quiet. And it's a very eerie feeling, because you know what it's like at that place, any training ground, when it's full of players and lively. It's very strange.
Very strange, yeah. So you mentioned about maybe the morning routine, but what you do in the afternoon, I'm sure that you are still searching, researching, finding new ideas and stuff to improve and develop yourself. What is the thing that you find?
I'm looking at all sorts of things, King. I've been looking at philosophical groups, psychoanalytic groups, and also I've been looking at different fitness methods and yoga methods, you know, ways of helping the players. And we've got each member of staff has got 4 players who we're looking after. And as you know, we've got lots of young players who are away from the country, away from their families, in a big house on their own. So we're trying to support them as much as we can, because it's really difficult for them.
Yeah, it's important. Yeah, I think there is like a kind of like issue, anxiety. People don't know they need like reinsurance. And I think maybe they need just like experienced players or experienced staff to be around them and talk to them. So yes, it's very important. So do you have like any tips in nutrition and meals that those guys need to be looked after and be careful? You know, they can come back 2 or 3, 4 kilos more than normal. So,
well, I've actually been really shocked, King, because most of them have been doing more training than normally do, because I think they've got nothing else to do. You know, one of them in the first week of lockdown, he did a 70-kilometer week of running. So. He can eat what he wants.
I can't do that. I can't do 7 kilometers. I don't do. Yeah, but I know that you were like someone who's looking at nutrition very closely, making sure that I think your family members as well need to eat correctly the vegetables and all that. So, what is the special meal from the Guru?
Well, as you know, I've been vegetarian for probably 30 years. I've been vegan a little bit as well, but my kids, we've brought up vegetarian, and I think it's a really healthy diet. For top level athletes, it's probably better to eat meat. And my son now, who's 17, he's 6'5", and he's been vegetarian all his life. So the people who say you can't get strong on veg, it's important to eat high protein, some fat, and probably lower carbs now that they're not training as much.
Yeah, they do not train so as much, but it seems like even me, in some ways, I hit the gym a little bit more than usual. Of course, that you see your family members as well being like really focused on eating. They have like a kind of app. It's called Yuka, that they can check the quality of the food and the recipes and all that. So it's brilliant. I think he helped people to remind themselves that whatever you put in your body is very, very important. So yeah.
I never used to see you in the gym at Finch Farm. What do you mean you hit the gym more now? More than never?
What do you mean? I wasn't in the gym that much?
You're not like Sylvan. Sylvan used to be in
No.
there all the time. I never
Yeah.
used to see you there.
I think that Silva will retired me. He just like killed the game. It just like he went too far. So I say, oh, I can't compete here. And I'm a competitor, so I didn't want to challenge. The guy was like just obsessed. You see him doing it right now. It's just like on the gym every day. I mean, like I think it's because he's got the body. If you are skinny like this, I don't think he would be doing it. But he's like looking good. He's got all the tattoos. It's brilliant. I mean that. What do you actually look in terms of like things to go on the net on Netflix and stuff like this? Do you do any research like this as well?
Well, there's two things that I've watched on Netflix and Amazon Prime that I've really enjoyed. One is called The Test, and it's about the Australian cricket team and Justin Langer's their coach. And it shows you some amazing insights about their coaching philosophy and the way he communicates with players. And I think a lot of football managers can learn a lot from him. And the other, I don't know if you've seen it yet, is Michael Jordan's documentary, or the documentary about the Chicago Bulls. Have you seen it?
It's amazing, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I was living in New York in my 20s, and when I lived there, Michael Jordan was at his height. And I just used to love him. I watched all his games. But I forgot how incredible he was. He was just an amazing player. But the episode last night was interesting because it showed an aspect of his life where he was stuck in a hotel room and couldn't go outside because everywhere he went, he just got mobbed by people. And I think, people don't understand that part of athletes' lives. And, from the outside, it looks easy. But it's a really difficult life in a lot of ways, as you know.
Yeah, it's massive. Even for my son who loves basketball, he loves his basket and to see the best of the best. I think telling a story in a different way than just an autobiography is just like way more content all around and making sure that people understand the context as well. So it's very good for people who love sports and try to understand how to manage to be, is inhuman. Though people like try to understand what he's capable of doing, but it's more about the actual mentality, winning mentality, driving people to a certain level where you think like how you can manage to scare somebody like this, how you manage to impress, or it's unbelievable to federate that much with sport. It's just amazing. So on the same way, I know you read a lot. So what is your favorite book right now?
I'm reading a book at the moment, and it's called How to Feel, and it's by a researcher from Yale University. And it's talking about the power of emotions and how young people don't really connect with them, and it's important to connect with your feeling and your body. And I think it's a really important lesson for us all, but especially for footballers, because you know what the life is like. It's so cosseted, and you get everything given to you. So I think to try and help the young players and empower them more and to express themselves, it could be a powerful thing.
It is. That's basically our vision, Ked and I, in the way that we work day and night with Axis Stars. It's really to empower those athletes, not only to be better on the field, but better on as a citizen. Make sure that those values that you get, you can actually understand them and replicate them in the right way. And it's not easy. You need to really understand your feelings. And as we have been accustomed in so many ways to get everything on the table, sometimes you get all the people making decision instead of you. All this is it's really bad for your development. And we think that it's what you just said. It's just yes, it's spot on. It's really important. And on the same way, your dedication every day to help, not only in fitness, but the mental aspect is very important. And this is why I think it's very important to talk to you and understand, maybe get some kind of story, that you as a man or in your position had to come out from, you were like really challenged or something really bad, and you managed to actually get it through. What is the story that you can share?
Difficult question. The first thing that comes to mind, Louis, is when I was a young player myself, because I remember, like, my dad was a footballer, and all I wanted to do my whole life was be a footballer. And I was absolutely 100% dedicated to it. All as you were, as all young players are, all day, every day, practice, practice, practice. And I loved it. And then became a professional when I was a little bit later. I was about 21, and I was playing in a game, and it was almost as if time stood still. Someone came in to tackle me, and I knew that something bad was going to happen. And the tackle happened. I lay on the floor, and I wasn't in a lot of pain, but I saw my teammate come over, and I saw his face, and his face was just in shock. And then I looked at my leg, and it was similar to Andre Gomez, where the ankle was completely gone. So I looked down, and then I can just remember the next 2 days, I was just lying in my bed crying and crying, because I knew that my biggest dream was over. And it took me many years to process that. But now I realize that it's a big part of my own journey, and that's why I can help people, in similar situations to Andre. And I also appreciate the importance of, the mental aspect in football. And from a young age, my dad taught me about that. So I've been lucky to have that as part of me.
It's part of being in a very competitive world where it's like a lot of contact as well. It's amazing. I didn't know that. I don't think that you told me.
No, I don't think I told you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 21.
Yeah. And do you know the other thing? The other thinking is that I didn't have anyone to help me. So I was playing in League One at the time, so the third division in England. So the staff weren't very good. So I was basically on my own. So now I really appreciate the fact that you can walk alongside someone and help them through that process, because it's the worst part of being an athlete, as you know.
Oh yes, yeah. Oh yes, and yeah, it's really hard for people to understand the actual emotion that you have to control. You have to express it the most professional way, and actually to get back, you have to get back on your feet and find strength where you really feel like almost humiliated. I felt this way so many times, where I felt like I let down my teammates, my coach. I don't know, it was like really, really hard. But all those things are something now I cherish, I really enjoy, because it built my personality, it built my confidence and my strength in some ways. It is my story. If I had like a brilliant career without any injury or nothing to actually account on those moments and all that, I won't be the same. So I think it's part of our personality in some ways. So on the same way as like it was a very bad story to experience, what is your moment, the thing that you want to share to your children, to your family, something that you had the goosebump, as we say?
Well, I don't understand what you're asking. What was that moment in my life, or?
Yeah, in your life, in your career, a special moment that really was like, I think, something that you will never forget. Yeah.
I think now, King, I have many moments like that, but in the role that I'm now in, I kind of get my joy through seeing players do certain things. And the first two moments that come to me are when Wayne Rooney played and scored that goal against Arsenal. Mm-hmm. And you just feel that joy for someone. And when they put the work in, and you see that the hard part that they have to go through, and then they can achieve what they achieve. And another is when you scored your goal at Wembley against Chelsea. And then the times where there's sometimes, King, where you were just unstoppable. And I wanted to ask you, and because you had a lot of difficult times because of injuries, and there's lots of players who experience that, but there was times where you were unstoppable and you really had the fire in your belly. Where do you think that comes from? Because it's getting back to Michael Jordan, and John Terry's another one I think of, and they've got this real competitive edge. For you, where did that come from?
It's a combination of things. The first one, I really feel like I had a game plan, and in game plan it was against me. I didn't need anybody to motivate me or something like this. And when somebody was like kind of like trying to influence me or trying to play me around, I was reacting really badly about that. I really felt like it was my responsibility to be aggressive, to be motivated, and by that, I think it's like a desire to always improve. And that focus never left me, apart from maybe when I retire. And this is my motivation was every day against me. If I felt tired, if I felt demotivated, if I felt, I'm not saying like under pressure or something like this, but I would say that I felt like I had to do more in somewhere. I had challenge. And this is the thing. I think when you have that in you, and there is no problem with confidence, there is no problem with people talking or shouting, because you really focus on what you have to do. That's my answer, because I don't think that you have a formula where it's all depending of your talent. You mentioned John Terry. John Terry didn't have the same talent as a Cristiano or someone else, but the determination and the actual, whatever the context it was, he had the game plan, really like about like improving, being himself, being like focused. This is more than anything, you know, it could be talent or whatever. Those things are nothing. It's more about dedication. Phil Neville had the same, you know. I really felt like every day he was obsessed, you know. Those guys are like every morning. So we have different way to express it, but it's really important to really fight your own mirror, or challenge your own mirror, I would say, more than fight, because it's the partnership. You see yourself and you really want to go along with your feelings, to go along with your desire to do things. You know, I was in line with what I dreamed, and I managed to do that because I was like really focused. Every single thing was on the side and could influence me or pervert me or something like this. No. And the one who really done that, I would say, the best way I could imagine for me is Cristiano Ronaldo, because he had so many people, maybe Wayne, but so many people was on the back of Cristiano all the time, from Manchester United to maybe Real Madrid, all the teams he played, until he reached that level where everybody respect, you know, say, listen, he knows his stuff, you know. But before, a lot of people told him, oh, you should play this way, you should do that, you should not do that, should dribble less. Listen, no. He was in his zone, he knew exactly what he wanted, and he had his dream. Everybody was saying something. He was saying, listen, I know my stuff. And this is by like combining where you actually listen to yourself and pick the right stuff at the right moment and analyze it in the right way. It's not easy. It's really hard because society always try to influence everybody. You have the social media, you have the fans, you have like, it's enormous, so pressure. But yes, I will answer that this way. And this is where it's important, because people like you, where I felt like I was like really in song with your ways of like talking. You really understand that, you really respect that. And as a doctor, where you have your pedigree, your credential, your experience, and it's not enough. It's not because you are the one who knows. That the communication and the way you actually listen to the information that someone tell or give you, you still have to listen, you know. And this is really important, that you manage to always felt like it was a team. And I didn't felt that when I was in different clubs, maybe had like my situation in United and other clubs, and I didn't felt that they understood exactly where I was going through, you know. And you managed to do that. That's why I call you guru.
Yeah, I think you pick up on a few things there, King. One of them is to have like a real goal in mind, and when you've got that, it creates a focus, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And there was in the test about the Australian cricket team, there's a player called Steve Smith. He's one of the best batsmen in the world, and he he got banned from cricket, so he was a real kind of bad boy, and everyone was he was playing against England. Everyone was absolutely slaughtering him with, you know, all kinds of abuse. And he went in and he scored 100, and the next day he scored another 100. And they asked him, how do you do it? And he said that it's like his bubble. He goes into a bubble and his concentration just gets finer and finer and finer. And then none of that other stuff even enters his mind. And that, as you know, I'm big into meditation, and that is meditation. That is what you're practicing. And sport is a beautiful way of expressing that in the moment. And I think that's why athletes love playing, because it gives you that freedom.
Yeah, on the same way, as I said, there is some part of like picking up, because you don't know, you don't have the truth. Every day you learn. So it's really hard to get the right message when somebody is saying something. It's about like sometimes telling you information, but sometimes they have that ego that come with it, and they want to show you something. They want to tell you, and you have to, sometimes the first natural reaction is you defend yourself, and you don't pick any of it, and if it's not said the right way. And Cristiano, even if it was like maybe very aggressive, he will take it. He will maybe not act on it and something like this. So I felt like this focus is it's amazing. I think this is the talent. And Michael Jordan, or all those like Federer, all those who's going into the zone, they manage as well to use the time really well. They understand, yes, my progression will be 1 year, 2 years, or whatever. They already have that vision and use the actual, pressure always on the right level. So yes, they use it to be fired up and all that, but they don't say, oh yes, it's the end because of the bad result or because of the bad performance. They always like bang, 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 bang every day. And this is that focus as well. It comes with a few elements, and I admire them because it's so easy. It's so easy within your family members to actually lose track, because they see big things and they tell you exactly the same. They have more actually influence on you. And those guys are amazing in being focused. And John Terry, as you mentioned before, I was like amazed, because the guy has like a lot of responsibility and all that, but he managed to always remain that kind of not only leader, but I would say that kind of a mentor by his attitude. It's not leadership. It's like, like his charisma. Even sometimes you may say that you attach a few things that was bad and being commented, and people will say about things. But at the end of the day, he knew his quality, his track was on, and bang, focus. Whatever people were saying. How many times we say John Terry had a bad game?
Yeah. King, I was lucky to work with him at Aston Villa for a year, and it was at the end of his career. And there was two things about him that really struck me. One of them was that he was the most competitive person I've ever met in my life. It was unbelievable. I'd be doing a rehab session with him outside. We'd be walking into the training ground, and he'd walk in front of the door first and say, "I beat you." Everything would be a competition. But the other thing that I really loved about him was that he's got a really big heart, and he cared about everybody at the training ground. The people who are on the least money and doing the most, they often get ignored. He would always go to them, and he'd help them, and he'd always care about them. And people don't know about this kind of thing. Yeah, and that, those qualities are what make the men.
This is typically the thing that we want to address in so many ways, because I don't like the cliche, and I always say that, if people know me really well, I always like dislike people or situation where somebody has told me and I haven't seen it from my own eyes, and because I know that people are judging very fastly people, and I don't like that, because deep inside it could be a mistake, but deep inside the guy or the woman have something. It's all about the communication. What has been expressed is maybe not totally the truth, and there is so many bad things going on because of that. And that's why I never take like decision, or most of the time I'm a decision only on gut feelings, because it destroys so many. I would say analyze when you try to really get the point. You know what he wanted to do, what is his mission, and I think that's what I felt because I don't know him like I was his neighbor for 1 or 2 years when I was at Fulham, and we had like some banter and that. But I can, as you mentioned before, I could feel this as a mentor. You can understand. I never heard like anybody was saying about bad things about him. But yes, the press, the people, the fans, maybe a few could have said a few bad things. But I don't like to judge until I really know someone. I really try to because it's not easy. We tend to do all that. Of course, you see someone, you say, "Oh, I don't like him," but it's important to remain like with a lot of distance with that. It's very important. Yeah, I think it's something that made me angry very quick. If I be honest, I don't like that. Yeah. So yes, the actual interesting things that we want to know because you are someone who really are very like broad on everything. You want to touch many subjects, but I would love to have your Spotify music. What is the guru that you love music? I'm sure. What is your taste?
Well, actually, I love all kinds of music.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, obviously, I've got teenagers who I live with, and they listen to rap music. I think they call it grind, which is kind of London rap. And I love it all, the good ones. So sometimes I'm at work and I'll put it on, and the players will go, this isn't your music. But I love it all. And I even listen to kind of classical Indian music, classical music. Anything with a good beat, I love.
Who is picking the music in the dressing room at Everton now? Who is the DJ?
Well, it's normally the younger ones. We've got a few young ones now, King, who think they're bigger than they are. They think they run the whole show, and they come in and put all kinds of music on.
Yeah.
I normally go and just turn it down a little bit so they don't notice, because it's like going into a nightclub normally.
Whoa! Yes. So it must be different with the different managers. Do they have like their routine? They don't like the music to be too high or not? Or not really? Ancelotti is maybe a bit more conservative, or is relaxed?
Yeah, he's really relaxed. But like most of the managers now, King, they're not as all encompassing as say David Moyes was. You know, you weren't allowed to breathe with David Moyes without until you're doing it the wrong way. Whereas now they're a little bit more. I think they're more focused on the football because there's a director of football who kind of deals with other stuff. So the gym is pretty much our domain. So we can do with that what we want. But it's so interesting to work with all the different characters and see what they bring. They've all got qualities.
Yeah, good. So yeah, I'm just gonna jump on thing that it's very interesting to know from your own perspective how you think that things gonna actually progress with the confinement at some point when the players may do the rest of the remaining of the season. How in terms of like sanitary or security, safety, you think that those players will be okay to play, will be unsettled? If anybody, for example, will cough on the field, you know, I could imagine like some people are gonna be a bit put off. All those things. What do you think? How far you are and the players are from coming back?
Well, it's been so strange from the first moment. We were driving into work. It was a Thursday, and I had a call with the director of football, and we found out about Mikel having it, and we said, look, we need to close the training ground. So we literally turned round on the way to work, and most of the players haven't been back since. So, but at this point, it seems like we're heading towards maybe coming back into training in small groups, and I think the initial phase is good. Because there's no danger to the players because it's all going to be social distance. The training ground is the cleanest place, probably it's as clean as hospitals. So I think the first period will be fine. when we start going into contact and training as a team and playing games, that is the point where it's going to have to be guided by science and the medics. And I don't think we're at that point yet.
So any test gonna be done at the entrance of the training ground or something like this? Or
yeah, I think, well, the Premier League is saying that it can't be at the training ground. It has to be an external testing centre, which is good. But the players and every member of staff will have to be tested before they come back, and then they'll be tested twice a week. So it's pretty safe.
I imagine like playing the game, so you don't know the opponents, but they had the same process basically through the league. And do the players will go back home and see their family back, or because everybody will be shopping and do a normal life? So how we can, by just doing the test during the week, it should be fine?
Yeah, we don't know yet. I mean, there are certain options that they're looking at, and one of them is to go into confinement, go into a hotel. It's even been spoken about going to different countries. But as you know, going into a hotel with the whole team for 8 weeks, it's really challenging. It's really challenging. It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
Fight. For the players especially.
It would be too many fights.
I mean, you know what it's like. If we go away pre-season for 2 weeks in a hotel, after about 1 week, everyone's starting to get a little bit anxious and a little bit fighty. So 8 weeks would be tough.
I can imagine myself being very calm, but yes, I can see 2 or 3 fights easy. Yeah. So the maybe the last question will be about three people that you have to pick in isolation somewhere for a month, let's say. Who you will pick?
So am I going to pick them because I'm interested in them, or because they'll keep me entertained, or?
Yeah, you have the mic. You can do and take what you want from history or today.
Okay, well, the first one is Gandhi. When I was 12, I saw the Autobiography of Gandhi, and I cried my eyes out. And at 12, that was a strange thing. And I've been connected to him my whole life. Just the way he lived his life and the way he wanted to serve people and find the truth in himself. So I'd love to meet him. The second one is a guy who you met at the training ground, an Indian guy called Sadhguru.
Yes.
I've met many people around the world, and he's one of the most interesting and special for sure. Yeah. He has a special presence, and he would keep me sane, but he'd also keep me very entertained, very funny as well. And the third one, I think I'll say LeBron James, just because I'm interested in him. And he's like the ones we've spoken about, like Jordan and Terry. He's been at the top of his game for so long, but he's also got a big heart, and he's trying to do things to change society and help society. He's putting people through university, helping the homeless and all kinds of stuff. So I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I can totally understand. And I know that Sadhguru, because we met it on the training ground, and I think it's more an inspiration than some I would say really wise people who are like confined in a very let's say secure environment. Where Sadhguru, we know that he's going out and see real life and manage to be that clever in a way that he is going to communicate, that's modern than the way he actually speak. It's brilliant, because whether you could find a lot of things interesting to implement in your life from Gandhi or from so many people, it's hard when you are living a true life. I mean, in so many ways, where it challenges, where in so many ways there is a not comfortable environment to take the time to analyze things the right way. And I think Sadhguru is more in the middle. So it's good.
Yeah. Were you there the first time you came, the night before we played Liverpool?
No, I wasn't there.
Yeah, well, just kind of connecting to what you're saying. the night before, he did a public talk in Manchester, and he spoke to 500 people, and it was really deep, and it was 2 hours long. And I'm thinking, oh my God, he's coming to speak to the players tomorrow night, and if he's like this, I'm going to die because the players will kill me. David Moyes will kill me. But he came in and he spoke for half an hour, and the players just loved it, and he spoke on their level. So, you know, it's what you're saying. He's so clever that he can speak to different groups of people and really inspire them in different ways. It's a clever guy.
That's how you are wise in a way that you adapt your communication. And the one that I've seen in the modern time for me was Sir Alex Ferguson. As I told you before, he was like able to speak to a Phil Neville, a Cristiano Ronaldo, or someone from the academy in a different way to actually get the 200% from them. And this is, for me, was like, I still can't do it right now. So it's amazing talent to actually manage to communicate the right way, and people feel not fretted, but encouraged, you know, energized. It's amazing talent.
I think that's why Alex Ferguson was such a genius, wasn't it? And Phil told me that he was a few times Alex would come to his hotel room the night before a game, and he'd speak to him for 10 minutes. He'd leave the room, and Phil thought, "Oh yes, I'm the king. I'm brilliant." And then 10 minutes later, he realised he just dropped him.
He's very, very clever. I mean, like any type of decision could be difficult, but he will do it in a way that whatever is like feeling, you know, you have that feeling where you feel very uncomfortable, but you don't know how to react. And in the same way, I'm not going to say that you respect, but it makes you feel like step by step during the week that he's going to come to this decision. I don't know, you know, and if it's not coming from a direct, it will come indirect. And he was clever. You know, it's not easy because he had like 25, let's say, I would say 25 players in the squad where everybody want to play. Everybody is like, it's like maybe 5 or 6 in the squad may say, oh yes, I'm okay in the bench, but most of them, they want to play. So it was really tough, you know, it was really tough.
Yeah, I think when you were saying that, the thing that comes back to me though about him is that he really cared about all the players. You could tell that from the outside, and that, you know, that's the quality that we've been speaking about. All of these top people have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this is massive quality. I don't know how he managed to do that, and especially at some point he was like a grandfather, and he was able to be that close with youngsters. I mean, like making jokes and you know, it's like, wow, natural. Like on the same way at 6:30 in the morning was like checking hands for everybody, respect, and knowing the name and the family problems of everybody. It's like, hang on a minute, how you do that? Where that energy come from? And have the memory, you know, the care. You need to care really. If you don't care, you don't remember. I know that if I cross somebody, if I don't really feel like something happened, I won't remember. And guys, like he really cares. That's why he remember everything. It's unbelievable. I mean, like, yeah, it's not only genius. He had the gift, you know. He had a gift.
King, I just want to say before we finish that when you were at Everton, like players often get big contracts, new contracts. But you got a new contract at Everton, and you asked one of the staff members to give everyone an envelope with some money in it and not tell them where it came from, and it was because you appreciated all the staff who'd helped you over the years, and that's the quality that we're speaking about. And you know, that had a huge impact on me, that you appreciated us, and it was a great thing to do. So thanks again.
Oh, thank you. You know, it's like, whoa, you caught me off guard here. But, yeah, I really did feel the same as a family in a way that I had like kind of issue and story with the injuries and all that. But from the people in the dressing room, from the staff, the administration, all them, they were really caring people. I really appreciate. I didn't feel I did enough, to be honest. But yes, I had like one big regret let's say it comes close to regret is not winning the FA Cup, not because we had a great team and because we could have won or something like this, because I felt like we really, I don't know how to say it in the right way with respect with other teams, but as we really thought that that art to get there, and in the same way to be as like kids, because I felt like from the fans and from it was like just dreams that come true, in some ways. Yeah. So I felt so connected that day, and it was really hard for me. And on the same way, it was really connected to, because I lost my ankle a week before. So based on that, all things was like in place in a way to do something special, and I couldn't compute. I was like really down after this year, really down. So yeah, all that is like a brilliant story on the same times, because it's up and down and how you manage to go through. But yes, maybe close to a regret, because I missed World Cup and Champions League. But this one, especially, I don't think that, when you win a trophy with Man United, people will say, oh, it's normal. You know, winning Everton was like something we really had, like a great team, fighting spirit, semi-final especially. I felt like it was just a brilliant story. I couldn't understand how we finished this way. I was really annoyed. Brilliant. Thank you, Dan. And I want to actually thank you as well, because you've been tremendous in terms of like helping us recruit and see the best out there for the members of Axis Stars. You've been really helpful, and I really think that it's very appreciate your time and your efforts to always help players on different ways, different channels, and this is brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thanks, King. It's been a pleasure. And as you say, I think anything that's going to really help empower the players and give them the power to do things and make decisions themselves, it's a great thing that they need going forwards. And maybe this time will make them think more closely about that, about how they can do that for themselves. It's an opportunity.
It is clearly. So we have good traction. So hopefully from that bad situation, something, let's say, good will be using the kind of like influence in the right way. They can move things, Yes, we have to have politicians, but hopefully one day we will have like those people educated, equipped to actually, I think, have a better impact in our society, because now they haven't been used. They haven't been used for entertainment, but they haven't been used the right way for maybe, creating a different movement in some ways.